There's this critical piece of technology. It's totally invisible, but it's what makes our entire digital world even possible. It's kind of the unsung hero, working silently in the background to make sure the websites and apps you use every single day are fast, reliable, and just always there. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this thing called load balancing.
I mean, think about it, right? It's Black Friday, or you're trying to snag those concert tickets for your favorite band, or maybe it's the season finale of a huge show, and suddenly the website that worked perfectly yesterday is now slow, buggy, or bam, it's completely offline. That frustration you feel? Yep, that's exactly the kind of problem load balancing is designed to fix. And this visualizes the core problem perfectly. In a really basic setup, you, me, every single user, we're all connecting directly to one single server. So what do you think happens when thousands, maybe millions of us all try to use that one single path at the same time? You guessed it. You get a massive digital traffic jam. That poor server gets completely overwhelmed and the whole service just grinds to a halt. It's what we call a single point of failure. Okay, so what if there was a better way to handle that traffic jam? Instead of just letting that one server get totally swamped, what if we put a smart traffic controller in front of it to manage all those requests? Well, that's exactly what a load balancer does. So what is this thing really? Well, the official definition, this one's from Amazon Web Services, is that it's all about distributing network traffic across a whole pool of resources. So instead of one server taking on the heat, you have a whole team of them, a server farm, if you will. And the load balancer, its job is just to make sure the work gets shared fairly among the entire team. And I love this analogy. It makes it so clear. Picture a busy restaurant, right? It's got 5 waiters. Now, if every customer just picked their own waiter, you know exactly what would happen. A couple of them would be totally swamped and the others would just be standing around. The manager, that's our load balancer, stops that from happening. They're at the door, greeting everyone and sending them to the waiter who's actually free. It makes the whole place run smoothly for everybody. So here's what that looks like in the real world. Instead of you, the user, hitting a server directly, you hit the load balancer first. It then acts as this facilitator, intelligently sending your request to one of the servers in the back. And the best part? If one of those servers is super busy, or maybe it even goes down for maintenance, you don't even know. The load balancer just sends your traffic to one of the healthy ones. For you, the experience is totally seamless. Okay, so we get what it does, but the really interesting part is how it does it. I mean, it's not just picking servers at random, right? There's got to be some logic behind it. So yeah, let's open up the playbook and see how these things actually make decisions. Yeah, exactly. How does it decide? It's not just flipping a coin for each request. It's got this playbook, a whole set of rules and algorithms it follows to make these super fast, super smart decisions. And we're talking milliseconds here. So you can basically think of this intelligence on 2 different levels. First up, you've got layer 4. Think of this one as a postman. All he cares about is the address on the envelope, the IP address and the port. He doesn't look inside, it's super fast, super simple. But then you've got layer 7. This is more like a librarian. The librarian doesn't just look at the address. They actually open the envelope and read the letter inside. They look at the content of your request, like the specific URL you're trying to visit. This lets them make way smarter decisions, like, oh, you want the blog? I'll send you to the blog servers. Or, you're shopping. Off to the shop servers you go. And within those layers, the load balancer uses different strategies or algorithms. Let's break this down. First, you have round robin. This is the simplest of the bunch. It literally just goes down the list. Server 1, server 2, server 3, and then back to the start. Super straightforward. Then you've got least connections, which is a bit smarter. It actually looks and says, hey, which server has the fewest active connections right now, and sends the new request there. Makes sense, right? And then there's IP hash, which is really cool. It basically makes sure that you, as a user, always get sent to the exact same server. This creates what's called a sticky session, and it's absolutely crucial for stuff like keeping items in your online shopping cart while you browse around. And this diagram just pulls it all together, doesn't it? So you've got us, the users, over here on the left. Our request goes out over the internet and bam, it hits the load balancer. Then the load balancer, using one of those algorithms we just talked about, figures out the best server to send it to, over here on the right. It's like the conductor of an orchestra, just making this whole complex dance happen completely seamlessly. Okay, so that's the techie stuff. But what's the so what here? Why does this actually matter to you or to any business running a website? What's the real-world payoff? Let's talk about why this is way more than just some abstract engineering concept. It's a total game changer. I mean, the benefits are just massive.
You get higher availability, which just means the app is always on. You get better scalability, so you can handle that huge Black Friday rush. But there's also a really clever performance trick here. Load balancers can handle something called SSL termination. That's the whole encryption and decryption process that keeps your data safe. Well, it takes a lot of computing power. So by having the load balancer do that heavy lifting once, it frees up all the other servers to just focus on what they're good at, serving up the content. The whole system just gets way faster and more efficient.
All right, let's talk about security for a second. Because there's a pretty common misconception out there that the load balancer is like the main security guard for your app. So, is it just a traffic cop? Or is it a bouncer too? Let's clear that up.
To really get this, we've got another great analogy here. A simple denial of service, or DOS attack, that's like one person walking into a coffee shop and ordering 700 coffees. It's obvious they're trying to cause trouble, and the barista can just cut them off. But a distributed denial of service, a DDoS attack, is way sneakier. That's like 700 different people all walking in at the same time to order just one coffee each. The end result is the same. The shop is completely overwhelmed, but it's almost impossible to tell the real customers from the attackers.
And that brings us to the most important point here. A load balancer is not your first line of defense. Let me say that again. While it can definitely help by spreading out an attack, it is absolutely not, and should never be, considered your main firewall. You see, real proper security is all about this principle called defense in depth. Think of it like the layers of an onion. So layer 1, your first line of defense, is always a dedicated network firewall. Its job is to filter out the obviously bad stuff right at the edge. Okay, once traffic gets past that, it hits layer 2, the load balancer. Its job is to manage the flow of what's left. And then finally, for layer 3, you often have what's called a web application firewall, or a WAF. This is what inspects the actual content of the traffic for really sophisticated threats. See? Every layer has its own specific job. So when you boil it all down, that's the story. Load balancers really are the unsung heroes of the internet. They're these invisible, super smart traffic cops working 24/7 behind the scenes, just making sure everything we do online is fast, reliable, and can handle pretty much anything we throw at it. So here's a little challenge for you. The next time you're shopping online or streaming a show or just browsing a site and it works flawlessly, just for a second, think about the incredible, invisible dance of technology that's making it all possible. It's a pretty cool reminder that for every simple, easy click you make, there is a mountain of engineering making sure it all just works.